My mother-in-law sneered I was illiterate scum at a gala. So I, Emma Logan, a $15 million, 0 cents tech mogul, left her world behind for my Maui villa. 3 months later, her darkest secret surfaced. The chandelier above glittered like 1,000 frozen stars, casting fractured light across the ballroom of San Francisco's Fairmont Hotel. I stood at the edge of the crowd, my champagne flute trembling in my hand, the bubbles long gone flat. The air was thick with the scent of wealth, cologne, perfume, and the subtle musk of power. Silicon Valley's elite swirled around me, their laughter sharp, their glances sharper. I was Emma Logan, 34, a self-made tech mogul worth $15 million, 0 cents. A name whispered in boardrooms and splashed across TechCrunch headlines. But tonight, I wasn't the celebrated founder of Pixel Pulse. Tonight, I was the girl from the Seattle trailer park, and Evelyn Carter, my mother-in-law, was about to make sure everyone knew it. I adjusted the neckline of my emerald green gown, a custom Vera Wang that cost more than my parents' trailer ever did. It hugged my frame perfectly, a silent armor against the room's prying eyes. My husband, Ryan Carter, stood across the ballroom, his tailored tuxedo accentuating his broad shoulders, his wavy dark hair catching the light as he charmed a group of venture capitalists. His laugh carried over the string quartet, warm and effortless, the kind that made people lean in. He was in his element. The golden heir of the Carter tech dynasty, born into this world of privilege I'd clawed my way into. I caught his eye, and he flashed me that crooked smile, the one that had melted my defenses back in high school. For a moment, I felt grounded. Then Evelyn's voice sliced through the crowd like a blade. "Anna, darling, don't stand there looking so lost." Her words dripped with honey, but her icicle eyes held venom. She glided toward me, her silver gown shimmering, a glass of Pinot Noir in her manicured hand. At 60, Evelyn Carter was a vision of preserved elegance. Botox smooth skin, platinum blonde hair swept into an updo, and a smile that never reached her soul. She was a tech heiress, a fixture in San Francisco's high society, and my unrelenting critic since the day Ryan introduced me as his girlfriend 17 years ago. "I'm fine, Evelyn," I said, forcing a smile. My voice was steady, but my pulse wasn't. I'd learned to navigate her barbs, to deflect her subtle digs about my unpolished background. But tonight felt different. The gala was celebrating my sister-in-law, Lily's new role at a top AI firm, a job I'd helped fund through her coding boot camp. I'd hoped, foolishly, that my contribution might soften Evelyn's disdain. I was wrong. She tilted her head, steadying me like a specimen. "You clean up well, I'll give you that. But that dress, bold choice for someone with your origins." Her lips curved, and a few nearby guests turned, their curiosity piqued. My cheeks burned, but I held her gaze. Origins. She meant the trailer park, the thrift store clothes, the parents who worked themselves to exhaustion just to keep the lights on. She'd never let me forget where I came from, no matter how far I'd climbed. "Bold choices got me where I am," I replied, my tone light but my grip on the flute tightening. A murmur rippled through the onlookers, some amused, others intrigued. Evelyn's smile faltered, but only for a second. She sipped her wine, her eyes narrowing. "Indeed," she said, "and where you are is precarious, isn't it? A self-taught coder with no degree, playing in a world that demands pedigree. It's almost inspiring." Her voice carried, drawing more ears. The room seemed to tilt, the lights too bright, the whispers too loud. I felt Ryan's presence before I saw him, his hand brushing my lower back as he joined us. "Mom, let's not monopolize Emma," he said, his tone smooth but edged with warning. He squeezed my waist, grounding me. "She's got half the room wanting to talk Pixel Pulse's latest campaign." His pride warmed me, but Evelyn's laugh, sharp crystalline, cut deeper. "Oh, Ryan, always her knight in shining armor," she said, her gaze flicking to him. "But let's be honest. Pixel Pulse is a fluke, darling. A trailer park girl stumbling into millions? It's a fairy tale, not a legacy." The word trailer park landed like a slap, and the crowd's murmurs grew bolder. My vision tunneled, Elian's face the only thing in focus. I opened my mouth to respond, but she wasn't done. "Face it, Emma," she continued, her voice rising, wine sloshing in her glass. "You're illiterate scum, dressed in borrowed finery, and you've dragged my son down with you." The room froze. Gasps punctuated the silence, the quartet's music faltering. Ryan's hand stiffened against me, his breath catching. I stood rooted, my heart pounding so loud I thought it might crack my ribs. "Illiterate scum?" The words echoed, stripping away years of hustle, late nights coding, and triumphs that had silenced every doubter but her. "Mom, stop," Ryan said, his voice low, dangerous. He stepped forward, shielding me, but Evelyn swayed, her face flushed with wine and fury. "No, Ryan, you stop," she snapped, her glass trembling. "You threw away your future for her, a Carter, living off his wife's dirty money. You're a disgrace, and she's the trash who made you one." The crowd parted, phones discreetly raised, capturing the implosion of the Carter family facade. My throat tightened, tears threatening, but I refused to let them fall. Not here, not in front of her. "Enough," I said, my voice cutting through the chaos. It was quiet but steel. I set my flute on a passing waiter's tray, my movements deliberate. "Thank you, Evelyn, for reminding me who you are." I turned, my gown swishing, and walked toward the exit, head high, the weight of every eye on me. Ryan called my name, but I didn't stop. The cool night air hit me as I stepped onto the Fairmont's terrace. The city's skyline glittering below. I leaned against the railing, my breath ragged, Evelyn's words looping in my mind. Trash, scum, disgrace. How had it come to this? I'd built an empire from nothing, out-earned Ryan, funded his siblings' dreams, and still I was the outsider in Evelyn's world. I closed my eyes, the memories flooding back, memories of a life that seemed so far away, yet shaped every step of my journey. I was 14 when I first tasted ambition. My parents' trailer in Seattle's Rainier Valley smelled of motor oil and bleach, my dad's mechanic coveralls draped over a chair, my mom's cleaning rags piled in the corner. We lived paycheck to paycheck, the kind of poor where a broken fridge meant eating cereal with water for a week. But I had a knack for numbers, a gift for seeing patterns where others saw chaos. I'd sneak into the library after school, hogging the ancient PCs to teach myself HTML and Python. By 14, I was coding simple apps, games, timers, budget trackers, and selling them to classmates for $5, 0 cents a pop. I'd scrounge every penny from dog walking and dishwashing to buy a battered Dell laptop, its fan wheezing like an old dog. That laptop was my ticket out. At 16, my world nearly collapsed. A rival coder, a senior with a chip on his shoulder, hacked my best app, a study tool I'd sold to half the school. He posted my code online, claiming it as his, and drained my PayPal account of $5,000, 0 cents, my entire savings. I confronted him in the school parking lot, my fists balled, tears streaming. "You're nothing, Logan," he sneered. "Go back to your trailer." I rebuilt the app better and faster and spread the word about his theft. By graduation, I'd earned back twice what he stole, but the lesson stuck. Trust was a luxury I couldn't afford. Then came Ryan. Junior year, our computer science teacher paired us for a coding project. Ryan Carter was everything I wasn't: confident, rich, destined for greatness. His family's tech empire, Carter Innovations, was a Silicon Valley legend. He strolled into class with his easy grin, his Stanford hoodie, and a MacBook that cost more than my parents' rent. I braced for disdain, expecting him to see me as the charity case in thrift store sneakers. Instead, he leaned over, scanned my code, and whistled. "Damn, Emma, this is clean. You're self-taught?" His hazel eyes sparkled with genuine respect, and my walls cracked just a little. We were a perfect team. I was meticulous, debugging line by line. Ryan was visionary, dreaming up features that pushed our project to the top of the class. Our late-night coding sessions turned into talks about life, dreams, fears. He'd sneak me into his family's Pacific Heights mansion for pizza and Red Bull, his bedroom a shrine to tech, dual monitors, VR headsets, shelves of sci-fi novels. I'd tease him about his silver spoon. He'd laugh and say, "You're gonna outshine us all." I believed him, 'cause he believed in me. Meeting his family was another story. Evelyn Carter sized me up in her marble-floored foyer, her diamond earrings glinting. "So, Emma," she said, her voice smooth as silk, "what does your father do?" I squared my shoulders. "He's a mechanic, ma'am. Nights at a garage." Her smile didn't waver, but her eyes screamed pity. "How industrious," she said, the word dripping with condescension. Ryan's father, William, a retired CEO, was kinder, asking about my coding with real interest. But Evelyn set the tone, and Ryan's siblings, Lily and Noah, followed her lead, their politeness tinged with distance. Our romance deepened despite the divide. Senior year, Ryan got into Stanford, his path preordained. I didn't apply anywhere. College was a pipe dream for a girl whose family couldn't afford groceries some weeks. "You could get scholarships," Ryan urged, his faith in me unwavering. "You're brilliant." I shook my head. "I need to work, Ryan, build something real." He didn't push, but Evelyn did. "No ambition." I overheard her tell Ryan before prom, "She'll hold you back." Ryan's response was fierce. "Emma's the most driven person I know. She's just taking a different road." We made long-distance work while he was at Stanford. I stayed in Seattle, freelancing as a coder, living in a studio apartment with peeling paint and a mattress on the floor. I'd code until dawn, fueled by instant noodles and ambition, teaching myself AI and data analytics from free online courses. Ryan visited when he could, his dorm room hoodies smelling of Palo Alto's eucalyptus trees. He'd debug my code, kiss my forehead, and say, "You're unstoppable, Em." But at 21, I hit rock bottom. A shady client, a startup bro with a man bun, stole my proprietary software, a recommendation algorithm I'd spent a year perfecting. He claimed it as his, then threatened to sue me for defamation when I called him out. I lost $20,000, 0 cents in contracts, and nearly gave up. Ryan flew in, held me as I sobbed, and said, "This isn't the end, it's just a detour." I bounced back with Pixel Pulse, my digital marketing platform. I launched it from my apartment, pouring every cent into servers and software. Pixel Pulse used AI to craft campaigns that felt human, telling stories that hooked customers. Ryan was my biggest cheerleader, flying up to troubleshoot crashes or brainstorm features. My first big break came at 23 when I revamped a failing Seattle startups campaign. My AI-driven ads showcasing their artisanal coffee's backstory went viral, tripling their revenue. Word spread, and Pixel Pulse landed a contract with a national e-commerce giant, pulling in $500,000, 0 cents, in a single quarter. Evelyn's dismissal never stopped. A fluke, she called it at a family dinner, her fork poised over her salmon. Anyone can get lucky on the internet. I bit my tongue, but Ryan didn't. "Mom, Emma's changing how brands connect. Show some respect." Evelyn's smile was a razor. "Respect is earned, dear. Degrees, pedigree, that's what lasts." Ryan proposed this summer after Stanford, at 25. We were hiking in Big Sur, the Pacific crashing below, when he dropped to one knee, a simple diamond ring in his hand. I said yes before he finished asking, tears blurring the sunset. Evelyn threw a lavish engagement party at their estate, but her whispers to guests, "Unpolished, not our kind," reached my ears. Our Napa Valley wedding was breathtaking. Vines heavy with grapes, but Evelyn's toast about modern love overcoming challenges felt like a jab. She cornered me at the reception, her champagne flute gleaming. "You're lucky, Emma. Not every trailer park girl lands a Carter." I smiled, my jaw tight. "Luck had nothing to do with it, Evelyn. Love did." We settled in a San Francisco loft. Our life a blend of startup hustle and quiet nights, coding, side by side. Pixel Pulse grew, but not without pain. A key investor bailed, leaving me to max out credit cards to keep servers running. Then came the smear campaign. A competitor leaked lies about Pixel Pulse's data breaches, planting stories in tech blogs. Clients dropped me overnight. My inbox flooded with hate. I spent weeks fighting to clear my name, my savings dwindling. Evelyn seized the chance to twist the knife. "Perhaps retail would suit you better, dear," she said at a Carter barbecue, her voice sweet as poison. "Less drama." I proved her wrong. By 28, Pixel Pulse was a juggernaut, generating $2 million, 0 cents a year. My income dwarfed Ryan's consultancy gigs, a fact Evelyn loathed. We bought a sleek townhouse in San Francisco, refusing her offer to help with the down payment. At our housewarming, she surveyed our minimalist decor. Glass walls, exposed brick, and sniffed. "Cute," I gritted my teeth. "We love it, Evelyn. It's ours." I didn't just build a business, I built a family. When Ryan's sister Lily struggled with student loans after her art degree, I funded her coding boot camp, turning her into a top AI developer. When Noah faced a rare cancer, his insurance failing, I covered $100,000, 0 cents, in experimental treatments. They thanked me with tears. Evelyn thanked me with silence. Her resentment grew, her comments sharper. "New money," she'd mutter. "No class." I paid for their European yacht trips, their Aspen chalets renovation, even Evelyn's yacht club fees, secretly through Ryan, who hid it to spare her pride. Yet she saw my success as an insult, my generosity as a power grab. The gala was the breaking point. Evelyn's outburst, "Illiterate scum, dirty money," echoed through my mind as I stood on the terrace, the city's lights blurring through unshed tears. Ryan found me, his face pale, his hands shaking. "Em, I'm so sorry," he said, pulling me close. "She's drunk. She didn't mean—" She meant every word. I cut him off, my voice hollow. "She's always meant it, and you let her." His eyes widened, hurt flashing, but I couldn't stop. 17 years, Ryan. I've taken her jabs, paid her bills, built an empire, and I'm still trash to her. Where were you tonight? "I tried," he said, his voice breaking. "I told her to stop." "Not hard enough," I snapped, pulling away. "I'm done, Ryan. I'm done pretending this is okay." I called an Uber, my hands trembling as I typed. He reached for me, but I stepped back. "Stay here. Fix this. With your family. I need space." The ride to our townhouse was a blur. I packed a bag, laptop, charger, a few clothes, and booked a red-eye to Maui. Our beachfront villa there, with its glass walls and private shore, was my sanctuary, bought with Pixel Pulse's profits. As the plane climbed over the Pacific, I powered off my phone, Evelyn's words still burning. "Illiterate scum." I wasn't crying for her. I was crying for the girl I'd been, the one who'd fought so hard to prove she belonged, only to realize some battles couldn't be won. Maui's dawn greeted me with soft waves and golden light. I dropped my bag in the villa, the ocean's rhythm soothing my raw nerves. For the first time in years, I felt untethered, not just from Evelyn, but from the weight of her world. I walked the beach, barefoot, the sand cool between my toes, and let the questions rise. Why had I stayed so long? Why had I let Evelyn's poison seep into my soul? And Ryan, my rock, my partner, why hadn't he fought harder? That first week I barely slept. I swam, journaled, stared at the stars. My team at Pixel Pulse handled operations, but a crisis loomed. A major client threatened to pull a $3 million 0 cents contract unless I returned for a pitch. I ignored it, my mind on bigger stakes. Then came the stalker. A former client, unhinged by my success, had been emailing threats for weeks, cryptic at first, then chillingly specific. "You don't belong here, Logan. I'll make sure you fall." My security team traced him to Seattle, but he vanished before police could act. I upgraded the villa's alarms, my heart racing at every creak. Ryan called daily, his voice strained. "Em, I confronted Mom. She's sorry. She'll apologize." I laughed, bitter. "Sorry she got caught, maybe. I'm not coming back, Ryan. Not yet." He showed up unannounced after 3 weeks, his suitcase thudding in the entryway. "I couldn't stay away," he said, his eyes red. "I need you." "You need me to fix this," I said, crossing my arms. "But I'm done fixing your family. I'm done being your mother's punching bag." His face crumpled, and for the first time I saw fear in his eyes. Not of Evelyn, but of losing me. We talked for hours, the ocean roaring outside. I laid it bare, 17 years of Evelyn's abuse, Ryan's silence, my eroded self-worth. He listened, really listened, and admitted his fault. "I've been a coward," he said. I thought keeping peace was protecting you, but I was protecting her. We started therapy, virtual sessions that peeled back layers of our marriage, his family's dysfunction, my own scars. Evelyn's apology came a week later, a stiff voicemail. I may have been harsh, Emma. I was stressed. Let's move on. I deleted it. That's not an apology, I told Ryan. It's a demand. He nodded, his jaw tight. I'm done making excuses for her. I choose you, Em, always. We decided to stay in Maui, making it our home. Pixel Pulse opened a Honolulu office, thriving despite my remote leadership. But Evelyn wasn't done. She sent a tabloid hit piece, anonymous but unmistakable, calling me a gold digger who'd trapped Ryan. It went viral, my inbox flooded with vitriol. Then came her ultimatum, relayed through Ryan's father. Return and behave, or she'd cut Ryan from her will. He laughed it off, but I saw the strain in his eyes. Lily visited, her gratitude for my help palpable. Mom's wrong, she said, hugging me. Your family. Noah came next, his recovery a miracle I'd funded. Evelyn arrived months later, subdued, her Pacific Heights armor cracking in her villa's open light. You've done well, she said, her voice tight. I handed her a coffee, meeting her gaze. I don't need your approval, Evelyn. I never did. As I write this, Ryan's asleep upstairs, the ocean's song drifting through our windows. Pixel Pulse is global now, my team stronger than ever. But the stalker's threats linger, a shadow on my peace. Evelyn's silence feels temporary, her next move a mystery. And Ryan, my love, my partner, carries scars from choosing me over his family. Will our new life hold, or will the past pull us back? If you're reading this, maybe you've faced your own Evelyn, someone who sees your worth as a threat. I'd love to hear your story. How did you fight back? How did you find your peace? Share below, and let's remind each other, our worth isn't theirs to define. Sometimes the bravest thing is walking away, even across an ocean, to find the life you deserve. The Maui sunrise painted the ocean in hues of coral and gold, but I barely noticed. I sat cross-legged on the lanai of our beachfront villa, my laptop balanced on my knees, its screen glowing with the latest threat from my stalker. You can't hide, Logan. I see you in your glass cage. The words, emailed from a burner account, sent a chill down my spine despite the tropical warmth. I glanced at the villa's floor-to-ceiling windows, suddenly feeling exposed. My security team had swept the property yesterday, their drones buzzing over the cliffs, but the unease lingered. I was Emma Logan, 34, a tech mogul worth $15 million, 0 cents, who'd escaped Evelyn Carter's venom at that San Francisco gala 3 weeks ago. But here, in my supposed sanctuary, new shadows were closing in. I closed the laptop, my hands trembling. The stalker, a deranged former client obsessed with my success, had escalated from cryptic messages to unnervingly specific ones. He knew my Maui address, the color of my running shoes, the time I swam each morning. My security lead, a burly ex-Marine named Kai, had stationed a guard at the gate and installed motion sensors along the beach path. We'll find him, Kai promised, but his tight jaw betrayed doubt. I hadn't told Ryan yet. He was already fraying, caught between his mother's toxicity and my demand for change. Adding a stalker to the mix felt like tossing a match into dry grass. Ryan slept upstairs, his soft snores drifting through the open windows. He'd arrived unannounced last night, his suitcase thudding in the entryway, his eyes bloodshot from the red-eye flight. "I couldn't stay away, Em," he'd said, pulling me into his arms. "I need you." But his need felt like a plea to fix what he'd broken. His family's implosion, his mother's betrayal, our strained marriage. I'd pushed back, demanding he prioritize us over Evelyn's manipulations. "I'm done being her punching bag," I'd told him, my voice raw. "Annie, I'm done with you enabling her." He'd nodded, promising change, but promises were cheap. I needed action. I stood, stretching, the ocean's rhythm calling me. My morning swim was my ritual, a way to drown the noise in my head. I slipped into my wetsuit, grabbed my goggles, and headed to the private cove below the villa. The water was cool, embracing me as I dove under a wave. For a moment, I was free, weightless, untethered from Evelyn's illiterate scum taunt, from the stalker's threats. But as I surfaced, a glint on the cliff caught my eye. A camera lens, a trick of the light. My heart raced, and I swam back to shore, my strokes frantic. Kai's guard was at the gate, oblivious. I shook it off, but the unease clung like damp sand. Back at the villa, Ryan was awake, brewing coffee in the open kitchen. His Stanford hoodie hung loose on his frame, his dark hair tousled. He looked like the boy I'd fallen for in high school, but the lines around his eyes were new, etched by stress. "Morning, Em," he said, offering a mug. His smile was tentative, testing the waters. I took the coffee, its warmth grounding me, but didn't return the smile. "Not yet. We need to talk," I said, setting the mug on the counter. "About last night, about everything." He nodded, his jaw tightening, and we sat at the dining table, the ocean's roar filling the silence. I laid it bare, 17 years of Evelyn's abuse, from her sneers at my trailer park roots to her gala outburst. She called me trash, Ryan, in front of Silicon Valley's elite, and you stood there letting her. "I didn't let her," he protested, his voice rising. "I told her to stop." "Not soon enough," I cut in, my anger flaring. "You've always been her peacemaker, smoothing over her cruelty. I've paid her yacht club fees, funded Lily's boot camp, saved Noah's life, and I'm still the outsider. When does it end?" His eyes dropped, guilt shadowing his face. He reached for my hand, but I pulled back. "I'm sorry, Em," he said, his voice breaking. "I've been a coward. I thought keeping peace protected you. But I was protecting her. I see that now." His honesty disarmed me, but trust was a fragile thing, and mine was cracked. "I'm choosing you," he continued. "I told Mom she's out of our lives until she makes this right. No more dinners, no more games." I studied him, searching for the resolve behind his words. "Words aren't enough, Ryan. I need you to prove it, and I need time, here, away from her, to figure out what I want." His face fell, but he nodded. "How long?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "I don't know," I admitted. "Weeks, maybe months. Pixel Pulse can run without me for now. But I can't keep living half a life, waiting for your mother to approve of me." He leaned back, exhaling, the weight of my words settling between us. Before he could respond, my phone buzzed. An urgent email from my COO, Jenna. Our biggest client, a global e-commerce giant, was threatening to pull a $3 million 0-cents contract unless I flew back for an in-person pitch. "They don't trust remote leadership," Jenna wrote. "This could tank us." I cursed under my breath, the pressure mounting. Pixel Pulse was my empire, built from late nights in a Seattle studio, from outsmarting competitors who dismissed me as a nobody. Losing this contract could ripple layoffs, investor panic, a hit to our $15 million, 0 cents valuation. Ryan saw my face and leaned forward. Work, I said, deflecting. I wasn't ready to share the stalker or the client crisis. Not until I trusted him to stand with me, not just beside me. I'll handle it. He frowned, but didn't push. Instead, he stood, clearing our mugs. Let's take a walk, he suggested. Clear our heads. We strolled the beach, the sand soft underfoot, the waves a steady pulse. Ryan talked about therapy, a virtual session he'd booked for us. I want to fix this, Em, he said, kicking a shell. Not just Mom, but us. I've been blind to how much you've carried. His vulnerability tugged at me, but I held back, wary of falling into old patterns. As we rounded a cove, I froze. Scratched into the sand, fresh and deliberate, were the words, I'm watching you. My blood ran cold. Ryan followed my gaze, his body tensing. What the hell? It's nothing, I lied, my voice tight. I kicked the sand, erasing the message, but my pulse hammered. The stalker was here, on my beach, breaching my sanctuary. Ryan grabbed my arm. Em, tell me what's going on now. I hesitated, then spilled it. The emails, the threats, the cliffside glint. His face darkened, fury mixing with fear. Why didn't you tell me? Because you're dealing with your mother, I snapped. And I didn't want you fixing this for me. I've got Kai on it. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing. This is serious, Em. We're calling the police. I nodded, but dread coiled in my gut. The stalker knew too much, moved too fast. Was he a lone nut or something more sinister? Kai arrived within the hour, his team combing the beach. The police took a report, but their shrugs said it all. Burner emails, no prints, no leads. Stay vigilant, the officer said, handing me his card. Ryan insisted on sleeping downstairs, a baseball bat by the couch. I lay awake, the villa's beauty now a trap, its glass walls a stage for unseen eyes. At 3 a.m. my phone lit up, a new email. You think you're safe in paradise? I'm closer than you know. Attached was a photo of me swimming yesterday. My wetsuit, unmistakable. I stifled a scream, my hands shaking as I forwarded it to Kai. Morning brought no relief. Jenna called, her voice panicked. The client's giving us 48 hours to confirm the pitch or they're out. Investors are spooked, Em. They're talking about pulling funding. I pinched the bridge of my nose, the walls closing in. Pixel Pulse was my lifeline, proof I'd risen above the trailer park, above Evelyn's scorn. Losing it would unravel everything. Book me a flight, I told Jenna. Tomorrow, Ryan overheard, his eyes narrowing. I have to, I said, my voice flat. The company's on the line. He stepped closer, his hands on my shoulders. Let me come. I'm Pixel Pulse CTO. We'll do this together. I wanted to say yes, to lean into his strength, but trust was still a tightrope. I need you here, I said. Hold the fort. Keep Kai on the stalker. He nodded, but his eyes were stormy, hurt, flickering. That afternoon, Lily called, her voice bright but cautious. Em, I'm coming to Maui. I need to see you. Ryan's sister, whose coding boot camp I'd funded, had become my ally, her gratitude a balm against Evelyn's venom. But her timing felt off. Everything okay? I asked, suspicious. She hesitated. Yeah, just family stuff. I'll explain when I get there. Her vagueness gnawed at me. Was Evelyn pulling strings, sending Lily to guilt me back? The next 24 hours were a blur of crisis management. I prepped for the pitch, my laptop a lifeline as I ran numbers and polished slides. Kai's team found no trace of the stalker, but a new email arrived. Run back to San Francisco, Logan. I'll be waiting. My stomach churned. Was he following me, or was this a bluff? I packed light, my nerves frayed, and Ryan drove me to the airport, his silence heavy. Be safe, he said, kissing me fiercely. I love you, Em. We'll fix this, all of it. I nodded, but doubt lingered. Could we? The flight to San Francisco was turbulent, mirroring my thoughts. I landed at SFO, the city's fog, a gray shroud. Jenna met me at the gate, her face grim. The client's wavering, but we've got a shot. Nail this, and we're golden. The pitch was at their downtown HQ, a glass tower that screamed money. I wore my power suit, black, tailored, no apologies, and strode in, my heels clicking. The boardroom was packed, suits sizing me up, whispers of the gala lingering. I pushed it aside, channeling every ounce of grit from my trailer park days. My slides were flawless, my data airtight. I told Pixel Pulse's story, my story, of building something real in a world that bet against me. The room leaned in, questions flying, but I had answers for every one. By the end, the CEO stood, clapping. We're in, he said. 3 years, $3 million, 0 cents. Relief flooded me, but it was short-lived. As I left the building, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Nice pitch, shame it won't last. Attached was a grainy photo of me in the boardroom, taken minutes ago. My knees buckled and I scanned the street, paranoia spiking. Kai was 5,000 miles away, Ryan in Maui. I was alone. I called Jenna, my voice shaking. Get me a car, now. She didn't ask questions and I was back at my hotel in 20 minutes, barricaded in my suite. I called Kai, forwarding the photo. He's here, I said, in San Francisco. Kai cursed. I'm flying out tonight. Stay put. Sleep was impossible. I paced, the city's skyline mocking me through the window. At 2 a.m., Ryan called, his voice frantic. Em, Lily's here. She says Mom's planning something. Something big. She won't say what, but she's scared. My heart sank. Evelyn's gala outburst wasn't her endgame. It was her opening move. What's she planning? I demanded. Ryan sighed. Lily's clamming up. Says she'll talk when you're back. But there's more. I found a letter in Mom's handwriting, slipped into Lily's bag. It mentions cutting you out for good. I froze, my mind racing, cutting me out. Was Evelyn behind the stalker? The tabloid? Or was this a new scheme? Send me a scan, I said, my voice steel. And keep Lily close, Ryan promised, but his fear mirrored mine. Evelyn wasn't just toxic, she was dangerous. I called my lawyer, a shark named Rachel, and briefed her. Dig into Evelyn Carter, I said. Financials, communications, everything. I want leverage. Rachel's voice was calm, predatory. On it. Give me 48 hours. The next day, Kai arrived, his team sweeping my hotel. No bugs, no cameras, but the stalker's reach unnerved me. I flew back to Maui, my nerves raw. Ryan met me at the airport, his arms a lifeline. Lily's at the villa, he said, driving us through palm-lined roads. She's ready to talk. At the villa, Lily sat on the lanai, her eyes red. She hugged me, her grip tight. I'm sorry, Em, she whispered. Mom's out of control. Lily spilled it all. Evelyn had orchestrated the tabloid hit, paying a gossip rag to paint me as a gold digger. She'd also hired a PI to dig into my past, hoping to find dirt to discredit me. The letter Ryan found was worse. Evelyn planned to forge documents, claiming I'd embezzled from Pixel Pulse to fund the Carter's lifestyle. "She wants you ruined," Lily said, tears falling. "She thinks if you're gone, Ryan will come back to her." My blood boiled, but fear crept in. Embezzlement was a serious charge, even if false. Evelyn had the money and connections to make it stick. Ryan's face was thunderous. "She's done," he said, slamming his fist on the table. "I'm calling Dad. He needs to know." He dialed William, putting him on speaker. William's voice was weary. "I suspected she was spiraling," he said. "I'll confront her, but she's stubborn. Be careful, Emma. She's desperate." Desperate was an understatement. Evelyn's empire was crumbling, her tech holdings tanking, her social status fraying. My success was her mirror, reflecting her failures. That night, I collapsed, my body betraying me. A stress-induced migraine hit, vision blurring, nausea rising. Ryan rushed me to a clinic where a doctor warned of burnout. "Your cortisol's through the roof," she said. "Slow down, or you're risking worse." I nodded, but slowing down wasn't an option. Pixel Pulse faced investor pressure to sell to a tech giant, a move that could erase my legacy. Evelyn's scheme loomed, and the stalker was still out there. Ryan held my hand, his eyes fierce. "We're in this together, Em. No more secrets." Therapy helped. Our sessions, raw and grueling, exposed Ryan's blind spots, his lifelong role as Evelyn's fixer, his fear of losing her love. "I've failed you," he admitted, tears falling. "But I'm done. You're my family." I wanted to believe him, but trust was a slow rebuild. We made a plan. Stay in Maui, expand Pixel Pulse's Honolulu office, cut Evelyn off until she faced consequences. Rachel called with ammo. Evelyn's PI had overstepped, hacking my emails, a felon. "We can sue," Rachel said, "or use it to scare her." I chose the latter, sending Evelyn a cease and desist, hinting at legal action. Lily and Noah visited, their support unwavering. "You saved me," Noah said, his cancer in remission. "Mom's wrong about you." Their words healed wounds I hadn't named. Evelyn arrived months later, her Pacific Heights armor cracked. "You've built something," she said, her voice tight, standing on our lanai. "I underestimated you." It wasn't an apology, but it was close. I met her gaze, unyielding. "I don't need your validation, Evelyn. I never did." The stalker vanished, his email stopping after Kai's team traced him to a Seattle motel. He was a loner, fired by a client I'd outbid, his obsession fueled by my rise. Pixel Pulse soared. Global now, my team thriving. Ryan and I found balance. Mornings surfing, evenings coding. Our love stronger for the scars. Evelyn's scheme collapsed under legal pressure, her influence waning, but her final letter, slipped under our door, chilled me. "This isn't over, Emma. Blood is thicker than money." I stood on the lanai, Ryan's arms around me, the ocean roaring. Was Evelyn bluffing or plotting her next move? Would the stalker return, emboldened? Could Pixel Pulse survive the tech giant's shadow? And Ryan, would his loyalty hold against his mother's pull? I didn't know, but I was ready to fight for my empire, my marriage, my worth. If you're facing your own Evelyn, know this. You're enough. Walk away, set boundaries, build your paradigm. Share your story below. What's your fight? Let's rise together.